And here we are.
So here we are, game number one. I cannot wait to see what we get. Look at this, Erangel, my favorite map. How about you, Copter? This is the one I always like to see, the classic OG map. Just talk us through the plane as we get started today, Copter.
Yeah, I mean the plane seems to be coming. It seems to be on the northern side, so it's coming from the west side towards the east, and we'll seem to have a quite northern plane. It's well pretty much on the middle on Pochinki. We can see on the minimap there. So people are just jumping out of the plane, and now we can see the distribution. So we have Polish Power heading towards the northern George Ball. We have Adepts on the southern George Ball, and then teams are around Gotska. Let's see what's going to happen with the Pochinki. It's just Entropy is going to be taking the control from the Pochinki. Bystanders will be heading somewhere on the school, apartment, and the Roshok area. And we do have a quite nice split with the teams.
It's interesting to see. I find game number one of these tournament weekends is always a really interesting one. You often end up with a lot of teams who haven't really played many games together, and it really starts to show which teams have done their research and which haven't, because you end up seeing teams fighting over drop locations, trying to establish dominance in certain areas of the map. And game number one is always the most feisty for that. As the day goes on, we've got a few games on Erangel, we've got a couple on Miramar, and we've even got this Sanok game coming in as well. So it's going to take a few games to see who is going to control what zones. And there we go. Zone number one popping right over to the east. Let's have a little look at see what these teams decide to do, how they're going to try and move in as we go into a phase one here.
Yeah, we actually had a situation there in Milta. So we had two teams heading towards Milta, but then they decided not to hot drop. So the other team actually just gave it away and just had a quite bad landing spot there. And the circle actually came right around Milta. So that's got to be a big move for the team who actually got the Milta. Meanwhile, we can have Redline here looting around the shelter and the museum areas. We can see Nail up here. So this roster is one of those very strong contenders, as we know.
Yeah, interesting seeing the circle shift like that. It does cause issues when you've got often quite popular areas down around small power, big power. A lot of teams like going down there. And it's nice to see a really extreme shift of our circle for game number one. Personally, I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of the weird circles, the circles that shove them right across the map. That's what I like to see. And hopefully we see a nice mix. When I was casting the UK knockouts the other weekend with the other beard guy, Lamb, we saw over the 4 Erangel games, we basically got treated to a circle that went every way in the map. We had a south, a north, an east, and a west, and it was just the perfect mix of zones that I wanted to see in a PUBG match on Erangel.
Yeah, I mean, the word circles are always nice for the viewers and also for the casters. I do enjoy them as well. But the players, they are hating them when they can't really predict the circles. So that is something what they don't enjoy. But yeah, it's not the case here. So we can definitely get some good game out of this. And this circle, which is now basically just a little bit on the north side of Milta. So we can see the wood chopping area there between the red line and the teams around on the southern side. So this can still shift anywhere, basically. It can come towards the Milta Power. It can come towards farm area, for example. It can even come right towards red line. So it's really difficult to tell at this point. But when we have the next circle and maybe the third circle as well, then we have some guesses which will be the most probable place where it's going to land. We have a couple players on the Sosnovka military island as well, but they can just easily rotate still on the northern east side of the island and just cross the bridge or whatever.
Yeah, it's a pretty a little bit early for teams to really commit to a location right now. There's certain areas in that which would be very favorable if the circle then moved there. But right now, you might see teams sort of take places maybe up around the hill on Lumber. That kind of area can be kind of popular in terms of it giving you options to move. If the circle shifts down to the southeast or towards Milta, it gives you a chance to try and crash into small power. You have the compounds around there, which often end up being very powerful. But if you get caught late there and a team has gambled and taken those spots already, then it can really catch you out. And we might see teams maybe go bold, maybe start running some splits. We've seen that a lot over in PCS, of course. Teams running splits to try and hold multiple compound to give themselves options so that when that next zone does pop, they can get in and they can take that prime position.
Yeah, I mean, these compounds which teams are now arriving, these are kind of like very good places if the circle is going to be coming towards Milta power area. So usually we can see at this point of the game that people are reserving these compounds. They might do a 2-2 split between the compounds so that they have like a reservation for multiple different choices. And of course, one we were actually looking towards, we also saw the full Fiesta a little bit far away still, but they're the favorite team of Winghaven. So just got to bring that up. Winghaven loving these guys. I mean, of course, who wouldn't love his team countrymates?
Exactly. You've got to cheer on your friends. And speaking of cheer on your countrymates, I was doing the UK knockouts the other weekend, and We Are Bad were a team that stuck out for me. Maybe not in terms of their name, but they came through with a really good amount of points, and they were very, very strong and very consistent throughout the whole of the UK knockouts. And I'm really interested to see how they're going to get along against some of these other teams. Obviously, Redline had a huge haul of points. They had the most points coming out of any of the knockout rounds. So I'm interested to see how Redline come up against some of these other teams today, because both the teams in Adriatics and Greece had a pretty big haul of points. So maybe some of that group wasn't quite as strong as some of the others. And today, I think we're going to find out.
Yeah, one thing about Redline that I'm mostly interested in is that we have a situation here. O'Connell coming from the SPQR, and we do have Shift W right next to them. And Shift W, by the way, playing with Markovs. So they don't have, they lost one of the players. So they are playing with the coach, but he was doing a lot of clutches earlier on the games on the PCS. So we'll see. I think the Shift W roster is going to be managing this without any major problems. O'Connell just scouting this whole place, and this place, oh, he's going to be spotted. Novik actually doing some damage towards Page, but O'Connell, meanwhile, goes down to 6 HP.
Yeah, we got a nice bit of early action. It was so quiet for the first 5 minutes, but O'Connell here was getting caught out on his own. He has got support now coming over. I was wondering where those teammates are. He's got a bit of backup now. And let's see what these guys need to do. It does look like Shift W are going to move out of there. They've got the better route into the zone from here, and it looks like things are starting to de-escalate, or they're going to get some shots. Now they're going along the beach. They didn't want to go through town. It is the wise move, but they've got to be careful here. Looks like SPQR are just going to try and get themselves into the zone as well, rather than doing anything too crazy. You can see him thinking about it, but I think they are just going to focus on their own game. It's very early. There are a lot of points for kills in this. Keep in mind, you get 2 points for every kill, so a little bit different to some of the other comp PUBG you might have watched. It's going to promote more aggressive gameplay, and I think maybe game 1, people will be a little bit more calm, but as the game develops and people start to see that scoreboard, they're going to start to realize just how critical it is to go for kills over this weekend.
Yeah, now the guys are piling up there around the Milta area. So because the SPQR and these guys who actually were fighting with the Shift W, they were the guys coming from the Sosnovka military island. So those were the 2 guys on the different islands. So they just came there from the bridge, and then they spotted Shift W. And we can see Ichris quite often keeping that building. So he's very often there on the roof and just spotting all the information from them. That is what part of their strategy on this one. But now they are moving away from that area. But as we saw from the map just a couple seconds ago, there's a lot of teams now piling up, and we still have 61 people, and it seems a couple of the players have somehow not been able to connect. I think that's the case because we haven't seen any kills yet happening. And now when we see the map, we can see adepts coming very late. That's very much in the core of their strategy, the meta, how they are playing. Adepts is always coming very late. Bystanders, and Bystanders is a team which hasn't been mentioned that much. Toby, of course, said that it's one of his favorites, but I mean, Bystanders and Morning Shift was a team what we spoke of earlier. I mean, these came from the Nordic regional knockouts, and I think that the Nordic regional knockouts, they had the highest level. I mean, there were so many groups, and all these 2 teams which got into the actual final, they have gone already so much through.
It's a very, very strong region. And also I'm interested here watching Optimal Gaming, OG. You can see the purple team down near Small Power there. They're holding a big split around all of those strong compounds in the Small Power area. There's not really any other teams that have committed quite down to that position yet. So if that zone does shift that way, then they're going to be in a very strong position to get the prime real estate to hold on to. But it's a gamble if they get pushed back up the hill. There's not a nice way to go. And it has shifted to the east. Wow, that has gone right over to the side. And teams are rushing down. Look at this. Just talk us through this copter as we see him charge down. Shots are now popping off.
Yeah, we can see also bystanders losing a player. That's going to be a big thing for Adams that they can actually move. We are bad. Are going to be shooting towards Vikurvi. So these guys from Czechs, they are also having a... Their team name is not that known, but they have a very known players there. So that is a good definitely a roster that we're going to be following. It's going to be Pixel, Phoenix, Luki, and Freekill playing for Vikurvi. So that's definitely our team. And we have a crash actually right there in the middle. We do have a situation also with the bystanders, with the Adams, but right there in the middle, we had a fight from the compound right here. Entropy crashing right towards Morning Shift, and these teams both have PCS experience as well. I mean, the Morning Shift, that's going to be basically Omaken Esports, but they have just replaced T-Bone with Rustama from NC Esports, so that's full Finnish roster. So of course I'm going to be cheering for these guys, but the Entropic Double going to be moving past. He's going to be spotted, going to take some damage from Rustama, and goes down with the nade from Jempty.
Brilliant nade there. Nice early action popping off. And these were those strong compounds we were just talking about. Looks like OG decided to shift over to small power. And now everyone is scrapping over these compounds. They know they are strong. So Actov just looks like he's run over one of his own teammates. That's my British team up there in the kill feed. So hopefully they get him back on their feet. But it is all kicking off down here. And they are pinned back in a pretty small area here to have 3 of you just in that one house. It makes you so at risk from those Molotovs and frags. And you can see it's getting pretty busy down there near Vaz. We've got Vaz and a double down on their knees at the moment, and Rust and Jempty need to try and do something to get back on board here. They need to get on top and deal with Hawkeye. They need to get one of these guys down to try and get on top. And there's shots coming in from other areas as well now, as there's more and more teams coming down into this area.
Yeah, we can see Morning Shift, they lost Page already earlier. I don't know what happened there, we didn't see on the broadcast, but they are basically fighting a 3 versus 4 here. They have to take a double, and Vasco is still knocked down, so they're gonna need to try to revive it. Reggie Bear just putting all those smokes there, and it's gonna be Team Sneap actually shooting from the distance a little bit from the north and east direction. Reggie Bear well low on HP, but he's still alive. Vasco's gonna be trying to crawl inside of the building or behind the building, so the Rooster can actually do some kind of revival, and the smokes are coming in from Jempty, so they're gonna be trying to cover it all the ways possible. But we can also see Super Jack moving there top on the hill, and he's going to have an angle towards Jempty and Vasco quite soon.
Yeah, Jempty needs to be careful out there. It's a nice angle to have for this fight they're currently having, but it does make him exposed from other angles. And Team Deathfox, the first team to drop today, they are gone. That's from the Germany, Austria, Switzerland knockout round. They came through with Shift W. Deathfox are the first to go out today. We are down to 15 teams. And here you can see the map, see who's gone for what. Interesting seeing Shift W controlling the whole of Big Power, or at least trying to. It's a big area to try and control, but you can see exactly what they're trying to do there. OG, they're sitting in small power at the moment, but interesting that they've left Cobry across at that compound. It's not a bad idea if the circle does pop back across to the west a little bit. It just makes it a little bit easier for them to come across, but I wouldn't feel too comfortable making that journey across the road given how many teams are down in that area.
Yeah, the Milta Power, I mean, which they are controlling currently, it's a good place for now, but usually the circles are shifting away from the Milta Power, and then it's super difficult to get away from there because it's such a wide open field right in front of that, so that's a tricky place. Of course, it all depends from the circles. We have locked MZ moving away, and going to be actually having a quite hard rotation. I mean, there's going to be a lot of these. We also have Full Fiesta on the same story, and we have Ironic and Full Fiesta. We have Chilia following and just hunting down, but he's barely getting away, and now they have a guy on the doorway. Season goes down, so Chilia actually gets killed with the AK, and now it's going to be time for the return, and that's going to be Full Fiesta being eliminated.
Unlucky there for Full Fiesta. Does manage to grab the kill. That's important points. 2 points for every kill. So definitely worth confirming that one there. But they are now gone. One of our analysts' favorite teams sadly out in 14th place. But there was just one of them holding down that compound, and he looked like they'd had some early action, and he was just trying to hold on and do whatever he could. This fight's still going on here between Entropics and MS here. They are pushing in. Looks like Jempty and Co. They're going to push this, I think. They're feeling bold. Yep, they are. They're in. There goes Rustamar pushing in close in. Now it's down. It's a left. It's just Beardo left on his own here. And they are gone. Entropic are taken down. That's a great push there by Jempty and Co. They got one knocked, but they'll be able to get Rusta back up. And they have now got control of all 3 of these buildings. It is a little bit on the edge of the zone, but they have controlled it, and that's absolutely critical for them.
Yeah, they will get the kills. I didn't see if somebody actually stole any of the kills, but anyway, they will get plenty of kills. But now we have Adams actually crashing and third partying. So they have 4 guys coming right on the same place and they want to change the building. Meanwhile, bystanders, they will find Chocotaco from young Padawans, so he's going to be gone as well. The bystanders, they lost Yacht earlier, but I mean, these guys, they have some serious fracking power. They're going to be trying to look out the Adepts players from the compound. They have some vehicles as well, but I don't know how long they can actually still use them. But anyway, they have them. Ironic will get one guy down from the SPQ Mega, but he goes down to Ironic as well. So he gets 2 of the SPQ players down. And now this whole morning shift situation with the Adepts, it's interesting one because what I can tell about Adepts, that they are a very strong team when it comes to longer distance. But I would, on my head, I would rank the morning shift to be a better team on the close distance fighting.
Yeah, it's getting pretty spicy down here. We can see, I think bystanders are not in a great spot here. It's going to be tough for them to find somewhere to rotate in. They're heading out to the north, but they're going to come down against Snip there. You can see they've been controlling that compound just to the right hand of the side of the map there for quite some time now. And it's going to be very difficult. There's already teams controlling big power coming into the zone. Phase 3. Oh, that's a great frag. Takes down Gemty. Look at this. Is it just Rustamar left to push? They have got just Rustamar left. Is 1v3. They got 1 down at the moment. Let's see what he can do. They got 3 kills on the board. That's 6 points for them. Can he get any more? It's going to be tough. They're going for the revive there, actually. That Molly is going to finish it nicely to confirm that kill. That is very nicely played, but he's still got 3 to deal with. But there's shots coming in from Redline here. I can see Noki has just been knocked by Redline off to one side.
Yeah, I mean, Rustamar, those Molotov cocktails, they were right on the point. He denied the revival and also almost got the guy who was reviving, so perfect. And Molotov cocktails coming from him. So now it's only going to be 1 versus 2 situation until they have Philo revive. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, Rustamar is definitely one of those guys that he can do this kind of things. He's always playing this kind of role. A little bit like a lurking there on the side. And now just watching with the 2x scope, has a barrel on his hand. That was the favorite. And now we can see the circle. It's going to be still around the small Milda Power, as we call it, where we have the OG, but we have Polish Power actually quite far away from the circle, and they're going to be in a problematic situation. We are at Final to take a lot of damage, can't actually peek from the window anymore, so we are bad. You guys knock down Final, takes a lot of damage, and now we can see Bikurvi making some moves as well. They're coming quite late, but they're going to be trying to get the we are bad, so they're pushing towards them, and now they have Itzy a little bit having a longer angle that he can try to give some kind of support to his teammate.
Yeah, not a great position for any of these guys down here, having a big old scrap between We Are Bad. And then that was AD just sort of dropped. They are gone. They are gone. Yeah. And that was some big kills on the board there. Were they up to 6 kills, I think that said?
Yeah, Rustamar, I mean, like I said, he's one of those guys who can do this kind of play, so you can never count out Rustamar. So he's a nice guy, and he has a great performance, and that's an example what he can do. So he just took down the Adepts.
Looking like it might be a little bit of a bad situation here going off for We Are Bad. Aktov and Clark. We saw Aktov was absolutely slaying in the UK knockouts last weekend, but those revives don't look like they're on. It's just Notto left. While Tej is off to one side, we saw him behind that concrete base just a minute ago. There goes Clarky. And Notto has a cracked vest as well, so he's going to struggle to really do much. Looks like they might be on their last legs. They've got 4 kills, though. That is 8 points on the board, and here we go. They're coming in close. Let's see what Notto can do with 3x right up close. The Curvy are moving in for the kill here. Now they're going to get it. They are indeed. There goes Notto, and T just been dropped by PP as well, so they are now gone. We Are Bad are out in 11th place.
Yeah, 10 teams, 26 players to go. And now we still have young Padawans. They're going to be trying to come here from the side of the Shift W. And I think next circle is going to be the one that's going to force Shift W to move at least a little bit more towards the center. And usually these teams end up in a situation that the guys are just there on the fence line and are wondering how to get away from this one. So we'll see what's going to happen. Polish Power actually has a quite interesting position there on the east. I mean, they're just controlling the coastal line, not any major issues. And then all these compounds, which I mentioned at the start, where we have Red Line, SPQR, Morning Shift, for example, those were good places, and I think they still have a quite strong position. I think Red Line still might be inside of the next circle, but it can just completely go on the south or east as well. So there's a lot of options. But yeah, usually the circles are not ending inside of the buildings here on the Milda Power area. So we can expect that we have an end fight there somewhere out on the fields between the Milda Power and the Mini Power, most probably.
It's going to be this circle that decides a lot of people's fate. I think if you end up making that push from big power to small or vice versa, it's not a nice route to take. And let's see what it's going to do for us. There are only 2 of OG currently left, and they're both, there we go. We are pushing towards small power. There's only 2 in small power, so If one of these teams is aware of that, I think they might choose to crash it. It's nasty getting across that road. But if you've got a full team of 4, now is the time to try and crash that. If you've got bad position, we can see teams starting to think about what they're going to do. These guys shift W, they're going to have to move down to the edge. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just try and get out of here completely maybe and take some stronger zone. It's not a great area to fight from on the corner here. And you have to be worried about teams coming in from behind you as well. They have got, I think, young Padawans. We saw 1 or 2 of them were left remaining. They were coming in from the back of Big Power. We've got Polish Power out here on the coast in a little bit of a weak position. They're going to have to move themselves in very slightly, and I think they may be considering crashing. I hope they've got some vehicles there. Otherwise, I think they're going to have a bit of a bad time.
Yeah, there's some solo players behind the Shift W, but they still have a strong place. They have the full stack still remaining, so they haven't lost anybody for now. So I think that they still have a strong position. And Recycle Bin, for example, behind the Kiliak guy there. You can never know what these solo players are doing. They're a little bit unpredictable. Meanwhile, Redline is going to be having a molly problem there. Whilst SPQ will find the angle. We have O'Connell and his pals fighting now with the Redline. Both of the teams will have to move partly. I mean, Redline, they have a 2-2 split, so 2 guys still done on the other side of the road, and they will be in trouble. But Nail-Up, for example, on the other side is safe, so they can just move those 2 players on the other side, but it's just a matter of time they actually make it, because it's always so wide in the open when you're running on the street. So there can be some shots coming from the distance. For example, Sneak T was doing a lot of damage. We have SPQ Julius moving a buggy, O'Connell, and they're just hiding behind the building. Now we can see Mob making a move, wants to join Nail-Up and QB on the other compound, and I think they're gonna they're gonna push it actually. So Mob just takes the control of the compound, and they actually want to engage this whole situation. O'Connell comes just behind the corner, and Marv now has an excellent chance to surprise these guys. O'Connell tries to come through the smoke. Gonna be leaving one of the Redline players most probably behind. Nail-Up gets O'Connell. Each piece meanwhile gets Croman, so one warm player outside of their backs, and now it's gonna be only Julius remaining from the SPQ who are fighting with the 4 guys from the Redline.
Yeah, 4v1 situation. It's just a matter of time before Redline clean this up. Let's see if they can do it without losing anyone. And Redline really needs to control this area of the zone. There's no one else really competing over here with them. Just one to deal with, and that circle is about to push him out. He's going to sit there and last as long as he can. Let's see if he tries to get out, or if he's just going to take the death to the blue and not give away the points. I think he might be doing that. Look, Redline are lining up and waiting for him. There's not really any hope for the poor lad here. Let's see what he does. If he's going to peek it, or is he going to sit there and take it? I think he's going to sit there and take it. Well, Redline have got control of this area, and that circle, that is pushed right off to the east there. That has gone far, and Ilias here is really making the most of those meds to keep Redline
There's only one way out of this. It's going to be dead. So SPQ goes down. Julius has no chance. Just wants to deny those points. So he doesn't want to give the points. It's going to be 2 points per kill, like spoke on the another's death. So that's going to be a lot of points for the other teams. And everybody wants to get those prizes. So definitely they want to deny those points. But meanwhile, Rustamar has made it all the way next to the mini power. And he actually has a quite decent place. He's, I think he's proning inside of the fence line. He's partly inside of the circles. Deep Sneep is there on the northern side. And Polish Power and Shift W is now exactly facing the problem that I mentioned earlier, that they'll have to get away somehow from the main power. Redline is going to be crashing on the mini power, so they will come outside of the circle, and now still have OG. So Optimal Gaming is still holding, and Nail-Up takes a lot of damage. Mauve just hiding there. Mollies are coming, so they have been definitely spotted. I mean, they just crashed here. They had no choice. There was no other place to go.
Yeah, right. Really nice to see things coming together as we reach the end game situation. Now, as I said earlier, when you get pushed across the big power road, as we're seeing from Shift W here, if they get pushed down there, it's just a horrible place to be, because it's just such an elevated position and everyone else has a line of sight on it. So you're going to have to deploy a lot of smokes. You're going to have a little bit of luck if they want to get across there. And like you said about Rustamar, amazed to see him down there. I don't know how he managed to get on his own from that house we saw him in to this very strong little spot down here, very near to the Curvy. But he's managed it, and well, let's see what he can do as this game closes out.
All the teams which are currently outside of this mini power, they have an excellent chance to be on the top 3. All these teams are going to be fighting here on the mini power, and the next circle is going to be shifting anyway away from the mini power, and that's going to mean that these guys which are still here, they're going to be fighting, and then we have Polish Power and Shift W outside of the mini power, and they're going to be in top 3 anyway, and they're going to finish up the team who's going to be taking this one. So that's what I'm expecting that's going to happen. 40 seconds when we have the next circle, so that we don't have to guess it anymore. Meanwhile, Redline, nice nade coming from Lucky, right on on the point. I mean, that wasn't an easy throw. He threw it actually above 2 lines of pipes. So gonna be doing a lot of damage, and I don't think that they can actually revive him anymore. Nailap is gonna be going down, and also OG will be in trouble. Enemy will get mobbed. That's gonna help out the situation a little bit. And QB actually wants to go inside and push them a little bit. Has no choice actually. Ooh, and that's gonna be spray, and one guy down, and Optimal Gaming is gone.
They are down after they held that position for so long, but like you say, as soon as that building starts getting pushed out, then you really start to suffer. Here's Rustamar, he's up against Snip, he's got Chroman here, and Lukaruk's just down very close by. I'm not sure if they know he's there or not. They look a little bit suspicious. Yeah, they are jumping around trying to see what's going on.
Yeah, I think there was some shots were exchanged earlier. I think they spotted Vikurvi, but I don't know if they know about Rustama, but there was some utilities shown, and I guess they have an idea.
Yeah, they're certainly very close by, and there's so many teams down in this small area. We lost a couple there as OG dropped, but a lot of teams left in a very confined space here, and it's off to the east of that circle that's going to be interesting to watch now. We can see Polish Power, they're spreading out, trying to become dominant in that big open area, but they've still got Shift W up there. They haven't yet left Big Power, but that circle is about to push them. And here we go, they're hopping on vehicles and they're making that move.
Yeah, that's going to be the most difficult move because Polish Power is expecting them. So Shift W, they don't really have any place where to go. They might try to go on the eastern side just to find some bridges where they can hide. He's just like fighting here all he can. And the Polish Power, they're going to be ex-El Gigante players mostly. Braexko, Markovs, Kilja, Kaitskis on the Shift W. So they are down to 2 guys, Braexko and Markovs anymore remaining. And that's going to be a difficult fight for them. But also Polish Power is taking some casualties there. Vikurvi, meanwhile, 6 kills as well. So, and they still have 3 guys remaining. So they are actually one of those strongest contestants here on the mini power fight.
Yeah, absolutely. They're looking in a very strong position. You can see Chris there just drop into the zone after he'd been earlier knocked. There goes Marco, knocked and flushed by Polish Power. And we've got just 2 really interesting big fights going on each side of the circle. Polish Power versus Shift W. And then Kirby, Rustamar, all these guys having a big scrap in the compound here. And there goes Shift W. They're finished. Brexco dropped by Norkis there. Shift W are gone. They are out. We're down to the final 4 teams of game number 1 now.
Yeah, and Rustamar completely alone still here. I mean, he has made a good journey here on the top 4, so they already have those kills from the points from the kills, and now we'll see how many placement points they will be getting. Vikurvi now with 7 kills, so that's going to be a good amount. So everything's going to be a little bit static. 10 seconds when the circle has closed, and we can see the final circle. Whatever is going to happen, it's going to be driving people probably there on the... I think it's going to be coming a little bit on the west side. But yeah, you never know. If it's going to be a east shift then now for Polish Power, and it's going to be north. So it's going to be the middle play is pretty much there on the road, just barely on the Polish Power side. So now these teams here on the mini power, they will have to start the fight. And it's going to be only one team that's going to make it all the way to the road. And it's going to be interesting to see which team is going to be. And Polish Power very strong on the other side. So now Rustama will be spotted. Lukaruk's going to open the fire towards him. So Lukaruk and Rustama exchanging some bullets. So Team Sneep and Vikurvi, if they're going to engage the fighting together, then it's going to be giving some chances for the Rustama. But otherwise, he's going to be dead.
Yeah, my feeling here is that Polish Power have the stronger position. They are able to... There's a few dips on that east side of the road that they're going to be able to take control, and it just stop people being able to push across. And everyone else... There goes Rustamar, finally gone. He did so well. 8 kills on the board now for Vukovic. He's knocked by a great nade from Marcelek from Polish Power there. He's just taken that slightly closer position and finished off. And that was Snip, actually, taken out by another frag from Vikurvi there. The utility is raining down. Polish Power, we can see here, they've pushed right up onto that ridge line, and they're just interrupting this, and they just get to sit here and third-party all of this action and getting themselves some nice points. 9 kills for Vikurvi, though, so however they go out, they're going to get a big haul of points here. Look at this free kill. Just hit the deck here, just trying to see what he can find. A lot of smoke in the line of sight. He is about to drop, and he's got a couple of the Snip players nearby. There he goes, dropped by Zico and finished off. And just Luki left from Vikurvi now with their 9 kills.
Yeah, I mean, Polish Power, they're doing exactly the right moves. On the last circle, on an area like this, it's going to be hunt or be hunted. That's going to be the name of the game. And Polish Power, they're just moving here just to welcome anybody who's going to be coming on the other side of the fence line. So Vikurvi and T-Snip, they're going to be needing now to fight because they just can't cross that fence. They just can't walk out of the gate. And when they do, it's going to be Polish Power just welcoming them, and they have the manpower. And now only Luki remaining, so he's going to be just shooting with fighting with the Team Snip. As we can see, going to be trying to find those angles, and Norkis, Marcelek, Cappy there, just waiting for it. and who's going to be coming, and they just want to get that victory. So I could say that Polish Power has this on the books, at least it seems like it. And now Luki is going to find that angle. There's going to be a molly coming towards him. He's going to catch the molly as well. The man is on fire, and can he make it? No! Yes! No! He's going to go down, and Vikurvi, they are gone, and Team Snip is going to be going outside to challenge the Polish Power. Utilities are thrown. Of course, they're going to need a lot of smokes.
Yeah, they're getting it laid down to try and make that move across the road, but Polish Power have been doing everything right. They've been holding that strong area, and not only that, they've been being nice and aggressive. They're making the most of it. They've been getting kills, getting the kill steals, and doing everything right to just put the pressure on these remaining teams. And now it is just 2 left. It's a 3v2. We got Polish Power, Norki, Marcel, and Cappy left versus Snip, Nixie, and Zico here. And let's see what they do. Looks like they're going to make their move across the road and just play aggressive now. They don't want to sit there getting pushed too far back by the zone. Look at this, creeping forward. It's going to be interesting. 7 kills on the board for Snip, so they've got some good points. But there we go. Shots coming on Zico. He's been absolutely lit up, and he has dropped. And Nixie is down very low as well. It's a 3v1, and he is on next to no health. Hiding in that smoke. But I think this is going to be it. The frags are raining. He's running into the blue, I think. He's going to give that one up. It is going to be it. That is going to be game number 1. It goes to Polish Power with 7 kills. A great display from Polish Power. They controlled the area so well, coming in from the cliffs there, and a dominant display down near Milta Power.
Yeah, I mean, great game from Polish Power. They had this on the books. There was no chance for Team Snip, and that's what they realized when they decided to actually kill themselves in the blue, the last player. They didn't want to give out those points because the prize pool is decent, and so they want to get all the points possible. But I mean, this was really set up already when the last circle went towards the mini power.
Yeah, absolutely. I love watching games go down there, and it was a really interesting one. There were a lot of teams with a lot of kills near the end there. We saw multiple teams with 6, 7 plus kills. So I think the leaderboard's going to be quite close coming into the end of this. It wasn't one team that's going to be miles ahead. And it's going to be interesting to see how things develop over the next few games as people find their feet. We've got a couple of games in Erangel, then we've got a couple of Miramar, even a Sanok coming in later, and then a couple more in Erangel. So quite a nice mix today. I'm looking forward to seeing how we go over on game number 2. But I think we're going to go back over to the caster's desk. So we will hand you back over to Toby and Co right now.
What a hell of a first game. Action all the way through. I mean, Dana, you asked for it. You want to see them go out and play aggressive, and that's exactly what we got. Phase 2, everyone was just pulling up.
It was indeed like this. We did see a lot of action, especially in the early game. And I want to mention the team Locked Aim. I was making qualifiers, watching them play also. And in Erangel, they did perform really well in qualifiers, getting a lot of kills. And as we see, first game Erangel in the finals also, they did get 7 kills, even though they didn't get good placement. So they weren't going to get placement points, but still getting 7 kills in early game. And they also had a crazy split over the map. I don't know how are they managing to do that.
I have no idea. I saw it. I mean, Season, what was he, all the way over in Farm, I think? And then you have Bram out to the east. I mean, Circle just kept going east, and there were pull-ups everywhere. And I mean, Winghaven, you saw the fights going on, and there was one player in particular that managed to stay alive for a surprisingly long time.
Well, I mean, for me, the highlight of the game was Rustam Mar, who did an amazing job for morning shift. I think that Paige died early in the game, in the first 7-8 minutes, I think. Then Vasco and Jemti died against Entropic, I think, in the houses. And Rustam Mar was alone, super alone in the houses. Adepts was pushing him, and Rustam Mar got the kill on Furax with the Molotov, I think. Mm-hmm. And then somehow, I really don't know how, he managed to rotate into Mirta Power and stayed alive long enough to get 3 kills by himself and a top 4 for his team. So I think it was an amazing job for Rustam Mar.
It sure was. I mean, normally as we see the highlights here, normally when you have one player left alive, you go, okay, if we can get just 1, maybe 2 points, it's perfectly fine. You can see the fight here in Tropic. And Tropic actually had something going for them, but unfortunately they end up going down. There was just such a cluster. Adepts coming in right after. Gemty was there trying to hold off. He's going to go down. And as you said, I mean, Winghaven, how in the universe does Rustam not only survive the fight here, but get away? Because, I mean, and Dana, we were talking about it when we were watching the game. This area of the map there's so little you can play. It keeps going out to the beach. How does Rustenmar get to stay alive? That is insane.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's absurd. I mean, in these areas of the map too, I mean, we saw Polish power. They on the beach completely spread out, tried to take control, and I actually think it was pretty funny because we talked about aggression, Dano, and they were maybe not playing so aggressive in the end. They were just saying, you can see it here. They spread on the beach, and they go, we don't have to go anywhere. They have to come to us. So by not going aggressive, they get to stay alive longer.
Yeah, the Polish team that really performed really well in the ending game, holding that side of the circle, and also they played it smart, as I told. So they did play smart and at the same time aggressively because they were throwing nades at the last two standing teams, I think. So they were trying to get those points for kills, and yeah, in the end they got that chicken. So GG's to Polish team.
Exactly. Very impressive play. Another team recovery. I mean, I think they realized in the end that they weren't going to get out of there alive. So many teams trying to get out of small military power. And Sneak team, of course, in the end finishing in second place. Nixie denying points. And that's something we can talk about maybe Winghaven. Because, I mean, yes, kill points worth a lot. Even more now that they're worth 2. And he says, nope, you know what? I'm not going to give away 2 points for free here. I'm just going to die to blue.